There's a moment in life when everything suddenly goes quiet. Not because the world has stopped, but because you have. You look around and realize you don't recognize the path you're on. You don't know where you're headed. You don't even know if any of the choices you're making still belong to you. It feels like you're floating through days that don't feel like yours, chasing goals you no longer care about, pretending to be a version of yourself that doesn't feel real. If you're feeling lost right now, this message is exactly the one you needed. If you feel lost, watch this. Feeling lost is one of the most misunderstood experiences in human life. Most people think being lost means you've failed, or you've messed up, or you're falling behind everyone else. But that isn't true. Feeling lost doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means something is awakening in you. Something inside you is refusing to live on autopilot anymore. Something inside you is demanding growth. Feeling lost is not a dead end. It's a turning point, a signal, a whisper from your deeper self saying, the life you're living is too small for the person you're becoming. The reason feeling lost hurts so much is because you've outgrown something: an identity, a routine, a relationship, a dream, a version of yourself, but you haven't stepped into the new version yet. That middle space, the gap between who you were and who you're becoming, is uncomfortable. It's confusing. It feels like walking through fog. You can't see the future clearly. You can't go back to the past because it no longer fits. And you're stuck in this emotional no man's land, trying to understand what went wrong when in reality something is going right. Let's talk about something important. When people feel lost, they often blame themselves. They think they should have figured everything out by now. They think everyone else is moving forward while they're standing still. But feeling lost is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're actually paying attention. Most people numb themselves. They stay in jobs they hate, in relationships they've outgrown, in routines that drain them. They ignore the voice inside them that says, this isn't the life I want. But you're listening. That's not failure. That's awareness. There comes a time when life forces you to pause, reflect, and realign. You might be in that moment now. And here's the truth. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be for the next chapter of your life to begin. Losing your way is often the first step toward finding a deeper, truer path. When the old map stops working, it's because you're supposed to create a new one. Let's go deeper. Feeling lost often means you've been running on expectations that don't belong to you. Maybe you've spent years trying to make others proud: parents, society, friends, strangers. Maybe you've been chasing achievements that looked impressive but felt empty. Maybe you've been pushing yourself toward a life you never truly wanted. When the identity you've been living clashes with the identity you actually desire, your mind hits a wall. Confusion shows up. Doubt appears. Your motivation disappears. You don't feel like yourself because the self you built wasn't based on what you truly wanted. Feeling lost is your mind saying it's time to stop living someone else's life. You are not alone in this. You are human. Let's talk about identity. People often feel lost because they're in transition, caught between two versions of themselves. The old version is fading, but the new version hasn't formed yet. Think of a snake shedding its skin. There's a moment of vulnerability, discomfort, and uncertainty. But the shedding is necessary for growth. Feeling lost means you're shedding old beliefs, old habits, old dreams, and old expectations. You're making space for new ones. And here's something powerful. The life you're meant to live requires a version of you that you haven't become yet. That's why things feel confusing. Your present self is still growing into your future self. You're not lost, you're evolving. But how do you navigate this feeling? How do you make sense of this internal fog? The first step is acceptance. Stop fighting the feeling. Stop forcing clarity before you're ready. Stop judging yourself for not having all the answers. Instead, allow yourself to be in this moment without panic. Give yourself permission to not know. There is strength in admitting you're unsure. There is wisdom in slowing down long enough to listen to yourself. Once you accept where you are, the second step is honesty. Ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. What do I truly want? Whose expectations am I following? What part of my life feels forced, heavy, or misaligned? What am I afraid to walk away from? What dream have I been suppressing because I'm scared to start? Being honest with yourself is painful, but it's necessary. Most people stay lost because they refuse to ask the hard question. You are stepping into clarity the moment you begin searching for your truth. The third step is to release control. You don't need to know the entire path. You only need to know the next step. When you feel lost, the mind wants certainty, but certainty is the enemy of growth. Growth requires trust. Trusting the process, trusting the timing, trusting yourself. You don't have to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You only need enough clarity to move 1 inch forward. The fourth step is taking small, deliberate actions. You don't find your way by thinking, you find it by moving. Start exploring. Try new things. Learn new skills. Change your environment. Meet new people. Take small risks. Every action gives you feedback. Every experience gives you direction. Every step reveals the next. Clarity grows through movement, not overthinking. Another important part of finding your way is letting go of past versions of yourself. You might feel lost because you're still holding on to identities you've outgrown. Maybe you're still trying to be the strong one, the perfect one, the successful one, the responsible one, or the fearless one. But people change. You don't need to be who you were before. You don't need to carry the weight of old expectations. You don't need to keep playing a role just because you played it for years. You can let go. You can evolve. You can redefine yourself. Feeling lost is also a sign that you need rest, not just physical rest, but mental and emotional rest. When life gets overwhelming, your mind shuts down. It pulls you inward so you can rebuild. If you've been pushing yourself nonstop, feeling lost might simply be exhaustion in disguise. Give yourself space. Step away from the noise. Stop trying to force productivity. Reconnection requires rest. Here's something deeper. Sometimes you feel lost because the life you want requires solitude first. Growth often begins in quiet seasons. When everything falls silent, when friendships fade, when routines break, when plans collapse, that emptiness creates room for something new to enter. You are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. Let's talk about fear. Feeling lost often triggers fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth. There is no wrong path. Every path teaches you something. Every detour gives you wisdom. Every mistake shapes you. Life isn't about choosing the perfect direction. It's about choosing a direction and letting the journey refine you. You grow by moving. You grow by trying. You grow by learning. The only way to stay lost forever is to stay still. Another reason you may feel lost is because you're too focused on the destination instead of the process. You want to know exactly where you'll end up, how long it will take, how everything will unfold. But life doesn't work like that. Life unfolds in layers. You understand things as you grow into them. The person you are today isn't capable of understanding the purpose of everything happening in your life, but the person you become later will. You don't need to figure out your entire life. You just need to focus on who you're becoming. One powerful shift that helps people move out of feeling lost is redefining what progress looks like. Progress isn't always dramatic. Sometimes progress is simply waking up, trying again, learning something new, letting go of something heavy, or making one small improvement. Progress can be invisible. Progress can be internal. Progress can be slow. But slow progress is still progress. Here's something you may not realize. The fact that you feel lost means you are paying attention. It means you care. It means you want your life to matter. People who don't care never feel lost, they just drift. But you're searching. And people who search eventually find themselves. Another important truth, you are not supposed to have everything figured out at your age, no matter what age you are. Life doesn't operate on a schedule. There are people who discover their passion at 12 and lose it at 25. There are people who feel lost at 18 and find clarity at 40. There are people who fail for decades before they succeed in one extraordinary moment. Your timeline is unique. Stop measuring your life by someone else's watch. You might feel lost because you're meant to build something entirely different from what you've seen. Maybe you're not meant to follow a traditional path. Maybe your purpose doesn't look like anyone else's. Maybe your life is supposed to unfold slowly, beautifully, unpredictably. And maybe this confusion is part of a greater plan you can't see yet. But here's the most important thing you must know. You are not lost. You are redirecting. You are recalibrating. You are preparing for alignment. The feelings you're experiencing right now are not signs of failure. They're signs of transformation. The fog will clear. The path will appear. You will understand why this season mattered. You will look back and realize you were never truly lost. You were simply becoming. If you're feeling lost, remember this: you're not broken. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're in a chapter that is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned than you've ever been. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the chapter where you rise. Keep moving, keep searching, keep growing. And when the world feels heavy, come back to NGO Star. We're here to guide you through every chapter of your journey. Your clarity is coming. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. You are not lost. You are becoming who you were meant to be.